With Jon Rahm moving to Liv Golf, the world of professional golf seems more fractured than ever. Will it ever all come back together? That's what we're going to get stuck into. Let's get cracking. So these videos that I do in the studio are all about subjects within the world of golf, whether that be professional golf or amateur golf. It's all about opinions. We're never all going to agree, but please get in the comments and let me know what you think. So this weekend, Liv Golf and the PGA Tour have launched their major events for this season. The PGA Tour with the AT&T Pebble Beach, which is one of their signature events, bringing all of their best players against each other, and then Liv Golf kicking off their season at Mayakoba in Mexico. Now, as I'm sat there watching this last night, because I had the Pebble Beach on my television and I had Liv Golf on my tablet down to my left, and it just really brought home to me, probably for the first time, just how fractured the world of professional golf is now, because I'm looking at my TV and I'm watching Ludwig Aberg, Victor Hovland, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, just incredible golfers playing amazing golf in tough conditions at Pebble Beach. But then I'd look down to my left to watch Liv Golf, and I'm watching Jonrahm, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustinjohnson, Brooks Koepka, Cameron Smith. I mean, just, again, amazing golfers playing in Mexico as well. And it just made me think how sad it is that none of these guys are playing against each other on a regular basis now. The world of professional golf truly is now completely fractured, with a good portion of the world's best golfers split across the two tours. And that is not good for the golf fan. So many golf fans blame Liv Golf for this situation that we now find ourselves in, although there's an element of truth to that, because they had the audacity to start up their own tour and take some of the world's best golfers away from the tour that we've all watched and identified with for so long. That all Liv did was basically, as a startup business, a startup business with an incredible amount of funding, it has to be said, decided to take on an established business that had a kind of monopoly within its arena. But you've also got to understand that when they decided they wanted to invest in professional golf, the very first people they reached out to was the PGA Tour. When they said, we want to invest billions of dollars into golf, they wanted to do it with the PGA Tour. And Jay Monahan, in his infinite wisdom, and now widely regarded as a massive mistake, decided not to take their call, not to have the meeting that they wanted to have. He completely ignored them, which then meant that, they went off and they ultimately ended up starting Liv. So there's actions on both sides as to why we've ended up in the situation that we now find ourselves in. Now, June the 6th, 2023 will ever be a landmark day in professional golf. It was the day that the framework agreement and the proposed merger between the PGA Tour, the Liv Golf and the PIF was announced, famously with Jay Monahan and Yasser Al-Rumayyan appearing sat next to each other, and everyone was totally shocked. It absolutely caught everyone by surprise. But the buzzword that was used on that day and subsequently weeks afterwards was all about reunifying golf for the golf fan, because the situation we're in now is not good for the golf fan, where we've got literally a split of the world's best players across two different tours not playing against each other. Now, the PGA Tour, just before the Pebble Beach event started, announced their agreement with SSG, which is a group of very successful private equity investors who have got a track record in building sports franchises. Now, I think this is a very smart move, because without doubt the PGA Tour product needs to be improved, and these guys have got a proven record within the sporting arena of building successful franchises. So that is definitely a very good thing. But it also appears to me that the PGA Tour is now going down that route, and they are pushing the PIF fund out to the side. Now, that is not going to reunify golf. I know they're sort of saying, oh, we're now starting talks, with the PIF about them investing in PGA Tour enterprises. I don't think that's actually what's going on. Please get in the comments and tell me whether you agree or disagree with me on this. But I think that they never wanted to take the money from the public investment fund, and they wanted to find, once they found out that all these people were interested, that was the way they wanted to go, which is absolutely fine, and they can do that, but it is not going to reunify golf. We're going to have a permanently fractured sport, which is terrible for the golf fan. Now, I think that Rory McIlroy has got some inside information on this, and he realises that this is what's going to happen. I think he knows that the public investment fund are not going to end up as part of PGA Tour enterprises, and we're going to have this, like I say, this permanently fractured world. And I think that's why he's done this full U-turn. You got to remember that Rory, for a long time, was very, very strong in his opinion and saying, look, if you go to Liv and you take the money, that's absolutely fine. He had no problem with that. But you go to that tour, and that is where you stay, and that is where you play your golf. No, you can't play in the Ryder Cup, and no, you can't come back and play on other tours events. Yet this weekend, or this week, in his press conference before the Pebble Beach event, he did a complete 180, and all of a sudden said, that the Ryder Cup rules need to be changed to allow Liv golfers to play in the Ryder Cup. Obviously, he wants Jonrahm, he wants Tyrrell Hatton in his team at Bethpage. But even more than that, he said now that if Liv golfers wanted to come back and play in a PGA Tour event, you should just let them play. Because Rory, I think, understands that the golf fan needs to be put first here. And also, I think Rory just wants to play against the best players in the world as well. I think the biggest soundbite from his press conference was when he said that a PGA Tour win was now cheapened compared to what it was in the past. Because when he held the trophy up in the past, he knew that he had beaten the world's best golfers to win that event. Whereas now, that's not the case, because your John Rahms, your Brooks Koepkas, your Dustin Johnsons, your Cameron Smiths are not there. They're all playing over here. So I think that's why he's done this complete U-turn. I think he knows that there's no intention of bringing the PIF into this new PGA Tour, and we're going to end up with two separate tours. Now, it would be great. I think it would just be great if that happened, because it's good for the golf fan, which I think is what they've all got to start putting first. But I don't see that happening. And then I also don't see Rory's request happening, because then you see the response of Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, and others on the PGA Tour who've said, okay, we respect Rory's, his opinion, but actually, no, we totally disagree. If they're going to come back, there has to be some punishment. There has to be something that makes that road a lot harder for them to come back. And I think those guys, although I understand their position, they've got to start not thinking about themselves so much. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but they've just got to think about the golf fan. It's all in the best interests of golf and the product if we get all the best players playing against each other more regularly, and just do whatever needs to be done. And by the way, PGA Tour players should be allowed to go and play in a live event as well. This isn't a one-way street. It can go both ways. So if these players want to go over there and have a big payday to play in a live event, they should be allowed to do it. It's a cross-border agreement that I'm thinking about here. Get in the comments. What do you think? The PGA Tour is absolutely phenomenal. It's got some of the world's most amazing events. Their sort of iconic events with all the history are absolutely amazing. And we need to make sure that we don't lose that. So that begs the question, if SSG have decided to not let the PIF come in, why would they risk devaluing their product by losing more of their players? Because over this period that Liv has been around, whether we like it or not, there's been a slow bleed of top players going across to Liv. So you started off with Dustin Johnson and Phil Mickelson, who is a huge name in professional golf, no doubt about that. But then everyone was sort of saying, oh, well, no one else is going to go and play over there. It's an exhibition tour. It's over the hill golfers. Then, boom, Cameron Smith goes over as the reigning Open champion. Brooks Koepka goes across and then goes on and wins the US PGA. Fast forward a little bit, Jon Rahm goes across, Tyrrell Hatton goes across. Okay, he might not be in that echelon of Rory, Rahm, Koepka, but he's still, without doubt, one of the world's best golfers. So, you know, SSG have put all of this investment into the PGA Tour, but they need to put more value into that venture and not have it devalued by losing more and more of their commodities going across to Liv Golf. So, you know, if they let the PIF come in and be part of it, then that takes all of that away, because then you just got to find a way to get a schedule that incorporates all of the tour's events under the one umbrella. But if they are going to go down this route of pushing them to one side, then why would they risk, you know, losing more players? Well, one thing they also mentioned in this week's announcement is that they've given equity in PGA Tour enterprises to all of the PGA Tour players, and the more prominent player that you are, the more equity you will get. So when Liv come with their checkbook, and they will, make no doubt about that, they will double down and they will come aggressively after their best players. The PGA Tour will say, well, hold on a minute. Okay, we may not be giving you that money up front like Liv are, but if you stick with us, then down the line, being an equity shareholder in this business, you are going to do very, very well. So you don't need to go and take that money. Don't you worry. You're going to be looked after very well over here on this side. And they are putting all of their chips, you know, all in on the table to hope that that is what's going to keep their best players playing on the PGA Tour. So that's it for this quick video about the present situation of the fractured world of professional golf. All of the videos that I do within the studio here on subjects like this around golf are all about opinions. We're all never going to agree on it, but I really, really would like to hear what you've got to say in the comments. Let me know what you think. What do you think should happen? What's the best thing to happen? How do we bring all of this back together? Do you want it all come back together, or do you want it to stay as it is and then just, you know, enjoy watching the majors where they'll all come back together? And the majors, you know, the majors could be the big winners here, because they are now the 4 events where all the best players come back together. But, you know, even there's another part of that, isn't there, where now you've got a lot of the live golfers that don't qualify for majors. I mean, Joaquin Niemann shot 59 last night and put on an absolute exhibition of golf. You know, I don't think anyone can disagree that he's a top 50 in the world golfer at the very least, you know, and would normally be in all of the majors, and he's now not currently going to play in the majors. So that's a subject probably for a whole other show. But yeah, it's all a bit of a mess in my opinion. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.